Welcome back to another ACRP TV Spotlight. Today is a very special one. We're looking at a partnership. It's called the Clinical Trial Insight Service. This is something ACRP has recently announced with Continuum Clinical. It's a really exciting partnership, and Ken Shore is going to talk to us about it. Ken is the Chief Commercial Officer at Continuum Clinical. Ken, first, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Now let's jump right in. This is very exciting. Tell us about what this partnership is aiming to do.
Well, one of the things that we've noticed over the years, having been in patient recruitment retention since 1988, is one of the most valuable resources to gather insights are clinical research professionals. Yet, it's not often that their insights are sought as sponsors, CROs, and others developing drugs and devices.
I think they'd be inclined to agree with you. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yes.
It's not a constituent that's considered often when it comes to trying to prepare and go through the protocol feasibility process, the protocol approval process, et cetera, to set the study up for success. And so we've partnered with ACRP now in a couple of different research initiatives to gather those insights and, of course, share them out to the research community, really in the spirit of making sure that this critical constituent is heard and their recommendations are incorporated as companies design and execute their protocols.
Now, how do you see this impacting clinical trials? I know it's going to take a little bit of time, but we're looking at a year from now, 2 years from now. Do you think you're going to start seeing some impact, hopefully, of gleaning the wisdom of the clinical research audience?
So we've had the good fortune of being involved in similar initiatives before the ACRP relationship. And it was exciting to see how quickly the insights that we gathered in talking to clinical research professionals as one constituent was applied to the design and execution of a study. So to answer your question specifically, we think the opportunity is immediate. Now, of course, we know that it takes time for studies to be designed and executed. But what we're advocating through this partnership is the opportunity to bring insights as early as possible into the planning process so that the learnings that we're able to gather and talking to the clinical research professionals can be incorporated into the study itself, which is, from our perspective and what we've learned from prior experience, really set that study up for more success than anticipated. And success could be defined as rate of recruitment, the extent to which they're able to capture their data quicker, et cetera. So there's lots of value for the sponsors and device manufacturers and frankly, anyone involved with designing and executing clinical research.
Based on your past experience, and I know you're just getting going with the initiative here with ACRP, do you have any sense of the types of insight? You just mentioned a couple of them, but the types of insights that you think we're going to gain from this audience, from this clinical research group of people?
So there's actually quite a long list of opportunities that we've identified. Again, kind of start at the earliest stage of the process, working its way through, it begins with therapeutic area research. So this represents an opportunity for sponsors, CROs, et cetera, to really get grounded even more so in understanding the therapeutic area that study is designed for. Next, disease state. So it's one thing to say that it's going to be a CNS study as an example, but when you're starting to get very specific to MDD or Alzheimer's or whatever the case might be, once again, this is a great resource, a great pool of people to access to learn more about potential challenges, et cetera, and mitigate them as early as possible. Feedback on the IE criteria is critical. And given their role in the execution of clinical research, they being the clinical research professionals, they're a great resource to turn to know in advance to what extent that IE criteria is going to be problematic or not. Study design, same thing, right? So this is a great universe of people to inquire with, to understand if they fully process the study design, what challenges they see, et cetera. Something we talk about frequently here at Continuum is recruitability analysis. So at the end of the day, obviously patient participation in every clinical trial is critical. But oftentimes the extent to which it's going to be recruitable is not discussed. And it's something that's learned over time. One of the things that we're able to do through this partnership with ACRP is gather insights from clinical research professionals to know specifically in advance which elements of the study are likely to be the most challenging when it comes to recruiting patients, and then, yes, retaining them as well. There's risk mitigation planning, okay? What does that mean? Well, all studies to some degree or another are challenging, but the extent to which we can know as early as possible which of those challenges are going to be most problematic, and if there's any potential workarounds, again, an opportunity to add value to the whole clinical design execution process by speaking with these clinical research professionals as early as possible. And lastly, site selection. Needless to say, a lot of parties contribute to identifying, selecting sites. We see this as an opportunity to help sponsors better profile the types of sites that make the most sense for this particular study. And then, of course, the sponsor or device manufacturer, whoever, can work with the other parties to determine who makes that final site list. But in terms of identifying the sites that are most likely to be your best partners for this study, I think this offering from ACRP and Continuum can go a long ways towards improving that process.
It certainly sounds like an idea whose time has come. This has been our ACRP TV Spotlight on the Clinical Trial Insight Service. Really exciting idea. We're looking forward to following your progress here and working with you on this. We've been speaking with Ken Shore, who's the Chief Commercial Officer of Continuum Clinical. Ken, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Michael. Stay safe.